In the Karakum Desert of central Turkmenistan, there is a circular crater roughly 70 meters across and 20 meters deep. The bottom of it has been on fire for more than 50 years. Local people call it the door to hell. The Turkmen government would prefer to close it. So far, the closure has not happened. The Darvaza gas crater sits about 260 kilometers north of the Turkmen capital, Ashgabat, off a single desert road. It is roughly 70 meters in diameter at the rim and 20 meters deep. Methane vents from the soil at its edges and bottom and burns continuously across the surface. The popular origin story repeated in nearly every English language source is that Soviet engineers, drilling for natural gas in 1971, accidentally collapsed the ground into a methane-bearing cavern, found their drilling rig in a new pit, and lit the leaking gas to prevent toxic dispersal, expecting it to burn off in days. It has burned for over 50 years. The Turkmen government, in 2013, formally classified the crater as a tourism site under the name Shining of Karakum. The official archival record from the Soviet period is sparse. No primary Soviet drilling program document confirming the 1971 date has been made public. Some Turkmen geologists have argued that the crater is older, formed by drilling-related collapse in the 1960s and lit only later, possibly in the 1980s. The popular date is what most sources use. The actual archival evidence for it is thinner than the popularity suggests. Methane is the principal fuel. It is not stored in a single underground chamber under the crater. It is leaking from a network of porous, gas-bearing sedimentary rock that extends in all directions under the Karakum Basin. The crater is a single visible vent in a much larger gas field. So long as that field continues to push methane upward through the geology, which it has been doing on a geologically constant time scale, the gas at the crater will continue to be replenished. The fire is not consuming a finite reserve at a measurable rate. It is consuming the surface flux of an effectively continuous supply. The fire's intensity does fluctuate on the time scale of weeks and seasons. Photographs from different decades show flames of different heights. There is no published study showing a long-term weakening trend. The crater is, on the available evidence, not running out. In April 2010, then-President Saparmurat Niyazov ordered the crater closed. He cited safety concerns about loss of livestock to methane near the rim, and the loss of natural gas resources that could otherwise be sold. The order was not implemented. In 2022, then-President Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedow reissued the order. He directed the relevant ministries to find a method, working with international experts. He cited similar reasons: methane release into the atmosphere as a climate concern, lost commercial value of the gas, and ecological harm to the surrounding region. The technical problem is not trivial. Capping a methane vent of this size is structurally similar to capping a wellhead blowout, except that there is no well. There is a porous geological formation venting across a 70-meter wide area. Any cap would need to be paired with depressurization of the surrounding gas field, which is itself a multi-year engineering project. As of the most recent available reporting, no serious engineering plan has been published. The crater continues to burn. Turkmenistan does not receive large numbers of foreign tourists. The country is highly restrictive on visas, on independent travel, and on photography of state-owned infrastructure. The Darvaza crater is one of the few places in the country that international visitors are routinely permitted to visit. The visit involves a 4-hour drive from Ashgabat, often arranged through a state-affiliated tour operator. There is no fence at the crater. There is no constructed viewing platform. Visitors walk to the rim, photograph the fire, and walk away. At night, the glow from the crater is visible from kilometers in every direction. There are no power lines or other lights. The Karakum at night is otherwise dark, and the crater is the brightest thing in the landscape. Darvaza is, as of the most recent available imagery, still burning, still roughly the same dimensions, still emitting methane that the Turkmen government has officially designated as something to be eliminated. The contradiction the Turkmen government is sitting with is real. The crater is a working symbol with a colorful name that brings what little tourism Turkmenistan has. It is also a continuous methane release of significant size in a country whose principal export is natural gas. Closing it would forfeit the symbol. Leaving it open forfeits the gas. So far, the open option is the one that has won at every official decision point. The exact origin date is not nailed down. Estimates published in geological literature range from the 1960s through the 1970s, depending on which Soviet-era account is taken as authoritative. The exact identity of the drilling expedition is also disputed. Estimates of the methane flux out of the crater have a wide range, from low single-digit thousands of cubic meters per day at the low end of published assessments to 10 times that at the high end. The wide range reflects the difficulty of measuring an open vent of this size in a country that does not freely permit outside scientific instrumentation. Somewhere in the Karakum, in the early 1970s, almost certainly some Soviet drillers did something that opened the ground and started the fire. The exact date and the exact people are no longer recoverable from the surviving record. What is recoverable is that the fire is still burning. The gas is still venting, and the government that wants to close it has not yet found a way to. Most fires go out. This one has not.